Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sketch Club. My name is Jason Meyer, and tonight we're going to be doing some action poses. So, for those of you just landing here, we've been Sunday nights. We do 4 5-minute sketches, and then we take the first 2 of those 5-minute sketches and continue 10 minutes on Tuesday, and then we take the second 2 and been continuing 10 minutes on Thursday. So that's what we're going to be seeing tonight. So let's jump over to the iPad real quick and talk about what you'll be seeing and how I'll be handling it. So just before coming on air tonight, I was finishing up some of the very last lessons for our first course in our online school, charcoal forms, the basic forms. And we're going to do a little review here, and what you're seeing here is a demonstration on how you can combine the basic forms to create a whole picture. But that is not what we're here for tonight. We are here for some craziness right here. We're going to start with, this will be the reference for our first one. Let's get something we can see here. So let's go through the basics of what's happening here. At a reasonable, see what we got here. All right, that should do it. There we go. So get the nose coming up and around. Right, we've got this extending out here. Right? You guys notice that right there? I hope so. This isn't, right? But it's like a big wave, a big thing giving way to littler, smaller things. So it's a dissipation of energy, right? And then if that energy, rather than just stopping, can be continued like onto the painting or the end of the paintbrush, then that's even a more pleasant experience for the viewer. All right, anyway, we're going to pull this back to the shoulder, pull the shoulders over and around, make sure the chest is coming down there. And then so after we have that, what are we going to build? We're going to build our forms. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, when we build our forms, we want to think about light and shadow. This light is coming down from the top. So you see our shadow here. Look how that pulls, and that gives us a shadow underneath there. Look at that brilliant shadow right there. Boom, 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 boom. And then we can shadow there to hold. Shadow all that dark to hold. Right? And then there's a shadow being thrown over the face here too. Like so. Okay, so you're going to be seeing me develop those shadows. And before we leave this, I'll just point out that the light here is on those top planes. Alright, so you might have a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit on the ear. Okay, so you'll have the light there, and then what do we have? Well, we've got a couple more values to get it done. Alright, so let's see if we can make that happen tonight. And then the next one is, oh, where'd she go? There she is. Little Miss Izzy a few years ago. All right, and in this one, we've got this arm here cutting in front of, but that arm's pulling, and then get that lock over there. And it's in front of what? Well, it's cutting in front of the head, and we also want to show that the shoulders on this side and that shoulder's coming in there, right? One of the reasons we can see this is look at that shadow. It comes all the way down like that. You see that shadow wrap around there? And this leg, what is the leg? I bet you recognize it. That's right, it's just a cylinder. It's just a cylinder. And so this is the shadow part of the cylinder. It's just a cylinder. Now I threw all of this in light and shadow because they've got multiple lights hanging all the way through here. And all of this is on the underside, away from the lights. Might get a little bit of light on that top plane, but then as we head back under, it's going to go shadow. Right? The same here. We probably want to put shadow there, and then we can get light on the top plane of that foot. Okay, so that's what you're going to see happen on mine tonight. But as always, feel free to handle yours however you see fit. This is made to be like a little bit of a workout, right? So don't worry, we're not going to be submitting these to the museums or anything. This is just to stretch our elbows, stretch our shoulders, do some drawing, stretch our creativity. Okay? So no shame, just marks. Let's make some good marks. Miss Susan made it. Good evening, Susan. And yes, what would I do without Cindy? Where would I be without Cindy? I would like you guys to answer that, or don't answer that, not out loud anyway. So the reference images can be found on the website, jasonmeyer.com. And if you hover over Sketch Club Live, you'll see a little title pop up, reference images, punch on that. And they are yours to use for free. Cindy does a good job of keeping those updated every week. All right, so I've done my work. We've got the thing recorded, so we hope you guys are ready. It's your turn to do some sketching. Let's get to it. Alright, the first one. Where's my reference image? It's coming, it's coming. It's a good question. Where's your reference image? There it is. There it is. Hey, that's a question I don't even want to think about. Where would any of us be without Cindy? That's right. That's right. Maybe that should be a saying. Without Cindy. Without Cindy. We all know what that means. We all know what that means. Yeah, Cindy's helped more than a few of us get up and running on these Zooms and internet and Facebook and YouTube, online schools, and whatnot. She has been a lifesaver. So, like I said, without Cindy, none of this would be happening. So, thank you, baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you from all of us. So what you see here is I'm working on that underplane, showing that 3-dimension. Now that I've got the volume of that arm, or we've got the two sides of the arm, let's make sure that turns around in 3 dimensions. We want it to feel like this guy's standing there painting. Not just 2-dimensional cutout taking up space in the middle of the studio. We gotta feel this guy working. Working, working, working. So yeah, it takes a village for everything. I wouldn't have this studio or be doing these videos if it wasn't for one Mr. Tom Dawson, as well as Miss Cindy, and there's more than a few other people out there that's helped us along the way. So we hope some of these sketch clubs and some of these other things that we're doing can pay it forward. Can pay it forward. So if you have been hanging around and enjoying the Sketch Club, make sure you do check out the online school. As things hopefully get to changing these next few months, our schedule might be changing a bit here too. So if this is something you've been tuning into or enjoy, keep an eye out. Go ahead and start an account on the online school. It's free. It's just your email and a password. We do have a few free programs over there, and there'll be some free live demos and such. But if things do change, and if you're with us over there, we'll definitely stay in touch. We won't probably quit doing things on Sketchbook, on Facebook and stuff, but we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Everything's a flux right now, so it's hard to say for sure. But we put a lot of work into the online school, and we hope that's going to be a resource for everybody. For all of us to develop as artists together. From brand new, never picking up a pencil, to some of you guys with some experience that would actually like to become artists and be artists and do art. And if you are an artist doing art, well, it's nice to have a little community of people you can talk to and learn from. Keep you inspired, keep you on your toes, keep you learning and growing. So that's my main thing, is always what's next. What? Let's learn and grow. Let's learn and grow. Right? Because if you've always got to be moving, you've always got to be going somewhere. Well, I think the growing directions are better than the alternative, don't you? So if you like to learn, if it keeps you alive, get your juices going, have we got a place for you. Alright, a place for us all to grow better together. That's the philosophy over there. So we won't do it for you. We'll give you the inspiration, motivation, information. But in the end, it comes down to you doing it. So all of you guys making those marks right now on your paper, you are doing it. Right? Whether they're pretty marks, ugly marks, it goes good tonight, it goes bad tonight. It's just about keep making those marks. Keep doing it. Right? And don't worry about any particular thing you do, but think of it in context of everything you do. And rather than one at a time, see if overall you can't have some growth. Notice how I try to make my marks feel around the 3 dimensions. Right? That really does matter. And if you're new and you don't understand that, well, that's our very first course, is the fundamental forms. Fundamental forms in charcoal. So it's not that expensive to get the supplies. And the whole course is just $25. So it's a great place to start. And why? Because with the basic forms, we build everything. We start going over the 4 values, why we use the 4 values, how we get the 4 values. And then we carefully go through a workflow that we use. The size and placement, putting in our dark, putting in our gray, putting in our light, and putting in our highlight, and then we'll go back for refinement. So by the end of the course, you're really familiar with using the 4 values and the workflow. And at first it may seem a little silly to think about doing a workflow for a cube or a sphere or something. But it won't be long till you're doing more complicated things, right? And as you do these more complex, complicated things, things can get out of hand fast. So it's important to get a handle on this workflow and have some of these things, so when you get lost, as things get complicated, those are going to be our safety nets. Those are going to be our compasses, our maps, our GPS, telling us, oh, we're off course here. Oh, yeah, we're on the right course. Go, 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 go. Wait a minute. I think we're getting off. Right? We have to have something that guides us. Right? And ultimately, it's an idea, a concept. Right? But before we do that, we've got to learn the basic value patterns. Right? To make things look like things. And then it's up to you how thingy you want it to be or how abstractly you want it to be. But it's hard to do any kind of painting if you don't know the basics of making the three-dimensional form. Alright, looks like we got another minute or so, maybe a couple minutes left on this one. So what I'm doing now is trying to pull out the top plane with the light. And then I'll finish probably with the white chalk, trying to make that fourth value. Right? And once you learn how to do the forms with the four values, then you want to up the game just a little bit. Alright, so how can I make these value patterns interesting? Not only descriptive of what I'm seeing, but interesting just as an abstract value pattern. And as you start playing that game, at least for my money, that's just when it gets infinitely beautiful and infinitely interesting, no matter what you're drawing or painting. Right? Because you're looking for harmony and you're looking for beauty. And one of the insights you'll gain if you work long enough is that you'll realize that you can only paint what you can see. You can only see what you look for. So the question becomes, what are you looking for? Let's see, maybe we can, I bet you we can we do this? No, it won't fit. Maybe, let's see. That'll fit. Let's stay on that side there. So it's never about copying for me, right? Copying is dull, it dulls the mind, it dulls the sense of it, it dulls the sense of life. Right? But it's about creating. And if ultimately we want to create beautiful things, then we need to look for beauty. It turns out one of the most beautiful things you can see is unity, is harmony, is wholeness from many individual things. So in other words, we don't want to see small, petty things. Small little, right? At least not first. But we want to see bigger harmonies. We want to see more universal. The bigness, the wholeness of it all. Right? So at first we learn how to do simple light, dark patterns. Right? And we learn how to make those patterns into certain kinds of forms. Then we learn how to combine those different forms to extend our light patterns and our dark patterns. Right? And then eventually we start asking ourselves, what makes for a more beautiful pattern? for a more harmonious pattern. And the better and better we get, we can create and maintain harmony mark by mark by mark by mark. And that's the true sign of a master. As you can see, I'm a bit short of mastery. I'm still working on it. But, you know, even if I'm not the greatest living master alive, I still think I can help you out a bit. If this is what you're into, right? If this is what you're into, this isn't something you're born with, right? Some people have a visual acuity more so than others. But when it really gets to beauty and harmony, that doesn't help. The visual acuity that most people take for talent is nothing more than really registering what's in front of you. And if we were just copying, well, then that might be something. But I think if we want to call ourselves artists, we've got to do more than copy. We need to create, right? And the world's so full of so much today, right? Do we just need to add more stuff to the world? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think there's plenty of stuff out there, but I'm not so sure about the quantity of beauty, right? So rather than just producing a drawing or producing a painting, let's learn to produce beautiful drawings, beautiful paintings, right? Harmonious drawings and paintings. Because I assure you, the world could use a lot more of that. Right? Doesn't necessarily need stuff, but it could definitely use a little more harmony and beauty, in my opinion. For whatever that's worth. Something to think about. So again, what's happening here is I'm putting the cast shadow. And like always, the cast shadow is not describing so much what's casting it as it is what it's falling on. And in this case, it's falling on a wall. So that cast shadow, we want to be vertical and give that vertical feeling to it. So if any of you guys missed the introduction, I was just before coming on air, finished recording the review for our charcoal forms in charcoal. So with a little luck, the editing will be finished tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely Saturday, and that'll be up and published. And then there'll be one little last segment on what's next. That'll be the completion of our first online course. So that will be very, very exciting. At least it'll be very exciting for me. You guys are welcome to join in, but whether you're excited or not, I'm going to be excited about it. I know, I'm a pretty excitable guy, but hey, let's just roll with what we got. Hey, thinking about the beauty and harmony, look what the most beautiful woman in the world just did. Bam, right on cue. Man, she's good. Man, she's good. Alright, well this is too short of a course to go into pulling and stretching and twisting, and I didn't really show too much of that. But if you can get some of those fabrics twisting and turning on her and pulling around, right? Again, not copying necessarily what you see, but using it to describe what's underneath. right? There's a reason we're putting these shapes, these darks. We're not doing it haphazardly, right? But we're trying to describe three-dimensional forms. As we get better, we not only forms, but forces. Where's the weight? Is it balanced? Is she about to fall off? Is she holding on? If she lets go with that top hand, is she still okay? Is the weight on the feet? Right? These are all things, believe it or not, that we can show and tell. And as we do this longer and longer, we'll get into some of that stuff. But for right now, let's just get those basic forms in there. Basic forms. And tonight, rather than head, neck, and shoulders, man, we got a whole body. Well, I guess the first one was still kind of head, neck, and shoulders a little bit. But not this one. Not this one. Little Miss is doing what she does. Right, so there's just under 2 minutes left here. See, there's those top planes on the foot. Right, we're underneath, so we're going to see the bottom plane like a cube, the top plane. And now the gray, I'm going to put on the wall or like the rock, and I'm going to leave like it's sky behind her. And then as I come forward, I'm going to make these marks bigger and more aggressive. Right? And that's going to bring the marks forward, make it look like that wall is actually coming towards us. So if you've got enough control in your hand to go from less to more or more to less, you can do this. By the way, if you can write your name, you got enough control. All right, so as we finish up here. Oops, that's not right. It's not right. I thought we had Izzy at the top. What happened to Izzy at the top? All right, how did everybody do tonight? How did you guys do? All right. Did you get something climbing up a wall? Is it a person? It ain't easy, especially as we reorient this stuff. It can get a little bit tricky. And just in case you were wondering, she made it to the top. Look at that. Look at that happy little kid. Boom, boom. All right, way to go, Iz. Way to go. All right, so Iz should be back Sunday night, along with my beautiful wife that keeps us all rolling. So if you tuned in to see those two beauties, make sure to come back Sunday night for us. All right, so let's take a look at Rewind before we call it an evening. So right here, we're going to see the whole program, or the whole sketches, a whole 20-minute of sketches in just under a minute. Just under a minute. I think so too. Susan says, yeah, little beauty. That's right. We like to cheer our little girl on. Okay, so hopefully those of you who have been around are starting to see how that light and shadow are both lighter and darker than the background, and how when you do that, that really brings things forward, right? Really gives it that standing apart quality. And that's the reason that I've made that little system, right? And I insist that you stick on it, because nothing's really going to jump off the page more than that. All right. So that's going to wrap up Sketch Club tonight and for the week. It's Thursday night. My goodness, this week went by fast. So for those of you that are waiting for the new courses or the final classes on the charcoal form study, that will be up in the next day or two, the review. And then hopefully following in the next couple of days will be the what's next, and that'll be the completion of that course. We've got class in the morning, so hit your time slot in the morning, and we'll have class tomorrow on Zoom. And after that, we're going to see all you guys back right here Sunday night at 7 o'clock to have another little artist workout, right? We got to keep that creativity fit. So thank you all for joining us. Much love to all of you, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.